right, guys, we got a very special guest here. No sponsors. We're going to cut right to it. We got Magic Mike of the Brooklyn Bears coming off a big win at the long-lived 7-man open class event. We had a team in Overshot Factory. We came in fourth. He kind of smoked us in the semifinals, and then he ended up beating Arsenal, which was comprised of Nasty X and some of the Baltimore Revo guys. So Magic Mike, welcome to the show, man, and just speak to us, first of all, about that big win, man. I mean, it's been a little bit of a hiatus. I know Robbie's been playing, but a lot of your guys haven't been playing in a while. I know I haven't seen you in a couple of years or whatever, but seems like the Brooklyn Bears are back a bit. So
that's what we're hoping for. That's what we're hoping for, man. Pleasure to be here. Listen, first and foremost, before we get to that, man, I heard through a little grapevine you got something going on, a little charity thing.
Yes, we do.
So Magic Mike, the Brooklyn Bears, and his sponsors over at Shaka Lux, we got a little something here that we want to give you.
Wow, man.
We got a brand new CVO mechanical shocker. I know you love the mechanical game. You guys, the 7-man, stuff like that. So we wanna donate this
That's awesome,
to your cause. I know you got an event. I told you I would do something for you.
Dude,
Let's knock that out of the way, man, and start the show with something special.
Dude,
that's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
We want to thank all our sponsors. We've always been sponsored by Lux, Shocker, Carbon. You'll see my son in a little while over there. And when Valken was in there, they were our paint guy. And I always said to all of those guys that we would be with you as long as we were playing paintball. And we're going to keep our word and do that. So that's for you.
Awesome.
Best of luck with your charity event.
Dude, we appreciate it, man. I love to have the Bears out, but, you
you
got other things during the weekends and stuff like that.
It's tough. But, as far as the 7-man event, like, about a month or so ago, maybe a month and a half, the chirping came that High Velocity finally put an air ball field up again. And that's, we've
years
been
coming.
Yeah, James and all the guys at High Vi, they've always been in the Bears corner. They've always been there for us. Shout out to all those guys, Andrew, James, and all of the High Velocity guys. Too many guys to name, but we just want to thank everybody for all the help they've given the Bears over the years. And we just, guys, we're coming out on a Sunday. So one of the local High Vi teams, High Vi Wrecking Crew that Cheeseburger Rob is running, gives me a call. I hear you guys might be playing again. We want to come out and practice you guys. We're killing it. We're mid-season form. You guys are, been on hiatus. You haven't been playing much. Right. We think we could give you guys a run for your money. So I start calling the guys, Joey, Robbie, Jared, Nick, Frankie, Antetomaso. And I'm like, guys, man, we're getting called out by a Division III team.
Yeah.
And saying that they think they could.
They're the new Kings of Long Island.
They're the Kings now, man. And, we haven't played. And I'm telling them, Rob, my guys don't need to play like you guys need to play. And so, like, that Sunday morning, when I tell you the guys all showed up early, hair on the back of their neck standing up. Robbie was, like, up here. I mean, the first point we played them, maybe 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Just, they're gone. The next point, Nick takes off down the middle, shoots everybody 30 seconds. The first 2 points. Robbie was going at it like we were in a tournament. So Rob, by the end of the day, was like, oh, my God. It was like one of those things like, I'm sorry. Can I come and help you guys? And I was like, Rob, we're all set. But, listen, get your guys out playing more. We'll come out and play again. And then, I think it was about a month later, he had Marcelo Margot coming out to help his kids. And he asked us back. Yeah, he's coaching them. So he asked us back. Can you guys come out again? And I'm like, listen, Rob's chirping again. He's got Marcelo. Apparently he thinks that's going to be something that's going to help his guys. And we murdered them all day again. Marcelo's a great guy. I know him. I don't know him well. Great guy. Awesome that he came out and helped them. He was definitely all over them. They were making errors.
Yeah.
They just don't have. My guys have been playing a long time.
Very long time.
And even if you're really good and you're not playing as long as them, you're going to have a hard time beating them because they know everything there is to know about paintball, and they're all about the game, and they're very, very smart about it. Not only that, they're super athletes and super talented. You're talking about guys who are pro paintball players.
Right.
Whether or not we're semi-pro, I mean,
They're pro paintball caliber.
They're
you know
pro
what I mean?
paintball caliber. We missed a pro spot, in 17, I think, by 3 points.
So
Oh yeah, real close, man. It was devastating. But you're talking about a really high. These guys don't need to play paintball every weekend,
right,
to come out like we showed in this event,
and
play with pro paintball players and other semi-pro paintball players and win an event. They don't need it. And I've always had the utmost confidence in my guys, and they're all about the game, and they come out. They say they play for me. I'm just out there doing, they think I'm special. I'm nothing special. They're special. They do the work. And, you'll see my son a little later on. He's here. They help him immensely, and it's a great thing. So, when we heard about the event, I think Nick actually put it in the group. There's a 7-man uncapped semi tournament at Jim Kim's field. And now I know Jim Kim pretty well. I call him up. I say, hey, Jim, you got a spot for the Bears. He's, excellent, Magic. Haven't talked to you in a while, I've been out for a little while. I kind of semi-retired after 17. We played we played Atlantic City in 18, and then we played Philly in 19.
Right,
and
local NXL.
The local NXLs. And then we would have played, I guess it would have been Virginia this year, and maybe, maybe we would have did World Cup, seeing how we did. So he puts it out that, I guess, Richie Butler was looking to play. So I said, Nick, why don't we get the rest of the guys? And more than welcome. I've always heard so much, and I know Robbie talked about it on his podcast that, the Butler Senior was their guy. Took those guys under their wing and really got them right to the pro level as well. And I, when Robbie told me, like, Magic, you're like right there with Ron, I was, that was just
over the
it meant the world to me, because I don't really feel like that, and to have all of these guys look at me and treat me like that, it's a feeling that can't be described. So I said, Richie, he'll come and play with us. Tell him, if he doesn't have a squad, that he's more than welcome to play on our squad. And it was nice, because when I finally got to meet him, he was like, I heard so much about you, and I wanted to meet you too. And so we got the rest of the guys together. Richie Picciano, he's had some stuff going on, busy with work, baby, his wife married, and he doesn't have quite as much time. He was going to try to come out and play, and then the storm hit, and he's in that business, and he couldn't go. So Joey Altamore calls me up, and he's like, maybe we should ask, maybe one of the NYX guys. And I said, I'll call PK, man. I got a good relationship with PK. I'll give him a buzz. I texted him, PK, you got any plans this weekend? And he's like, I got plans on Saturday, nothing on Sunday. I'm like, oh, good. Sunday's what I'm looking for. You want to come and play with us at a 7-man event? And then he was like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. He goes, I got my girls. Is it all right if she comes? Absolutely, it's all right if she comes. We'll get you set up in a room. He was nice enough to come down, really helped us out. I mean, played like he was one of us. And, him along with the original Bears, Joey, Robbie, Jared, Nick, and Frank. And then we had Scotty, who's been with the Bears a long time, Scotty Schechter. And then, Beaver. He
from
came,
NWO.
Yeah, from NWO. He's been, very close friends with Robbie. Every time I turn around at practice, he's there looking to get in, get better. And, you can't ask for anything more, man. And I like the kid a lot. He's one of the nicest kids you'll meet. And he never asked for anything. He's grateful to be there playing with the guys.
Right.
Invited him out, and it turned out, we had enough guys, and everybody was going to get a spin. We finally got Richie his first spin, I think in the 3rd or 4th match of the day, and he pulls a hamstring, and he couldn't play anymore. I felt terrible for him. Shout out to Richie, thank you. He stayed the whole day.
Yeah,
he helped coach. He was there till the end. Celebrated with us, told me, Magic, I'm going to retire now. I think I'm too old for this, and I'm going to retire a Bear. And that's great. Just people just want to be part of it.
You want to be in it, man.
They want to be in it with the Bears, And, for me, I feel like it's nothing special, but, everybody says it's magic. But, to me, I'm just, I don't know, doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Just having fun and being part of it and making it happen and keeping your word and that kind of thing. So,
I mean, that's very, it's like you said, it's nothing special, but I feel like in paintball, just sticking by your word and doing right by people, it is just so much, because, unfortunately, sometimes there is so much shadiness or wrongdoings or
Yeah.
backstabbing or anything like that. And you know, to these guys, you know, they've all been playing together so long, to have someone, you know, try to help those guys. You know what I mean? It's a lot, dude. And I know every single person that's ever played for you. I've never heard you get mad. I mean, I've heard you got mad maybe twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it was probably more you were frustrated because you know how good these kids are.
Yeah, it was more that I've always tried to tell these guys, and I told them at this event, it's really difficult to win if you're not having fun.
Right.
And as soon as the fun goes away and it's more like a job and you feel like you have to get it done, it's a lot harder to do that job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you guys agree. You're
Right.
out there. If you're not having fun out there, it's difficult to really win and have a good time. So
Right.
there are times when pressure got on the event, and you lose a couple of points or you lose a match, and guys are screaming and yelling at one another. And I one time I lost it at one of the events, and I'm not here for this. I was screaming at these guys, figure it out. We're here to have fun, and winning don't matter. It's just about enjoying. And I'm not here to watch guys argue and fight. And they turned around. And, you know, we came in, I want to say, like, second or third place that event. You know,
Right.
we were in
Right.
the finals. So, I mean, the guys understand it. You know, I very rarely lose my cool because that doesn't really help. And, you know, being a business owner, it's something that you got to take. I take it right from there. How you treat
Yeah.
people, how, you know, it's like a business mentality, you know. Keep your word, have a good time. And, you know, if you're doing it in business, you'll get more business.
Right.
You know,
Right.
if you're sweating everything you got to do, it's hard to get more business when you're worried about everything. So that's how I kind of run it, you know, from the get-go. You know, it started, you know, I don't know, probably 2000. For me, I think it was like 2013 or 14, maybe even a little
So
earlier.
I mean, I remember you playing, you know, like CTS 3-man.
Yeah, so what happened was, like, way, let's go real quick, back to the day. In the 1980s, so, like, I'm older, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm the old guy. You know, I play a point here and there when we're up 4 or 5 nothing.
Yeah.
So, back in the 80s, I live in Queens, Flushing, Queens. Get a group of Italian Guidos from Queens, you know.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, there's this paintball thing. Let's go. It's upstate. It's like an hour and a half ride. We're going to go try it, you know. It's a couple of dollars. So we all get together. Now, you know, you're talking about in 1980-something. I don't even remember what year, 85, 88, something.
Paintball's
Who knows?
just started,
I don't even
dude.
really know
Yeah.
exactly when it started, but... So here's a bunch of kids, Italian kids from Queens, in Adidas sweatsuits and Stan Smith sneakers, you know, trekking upstate, going onto it. We have no idea what paintball is. No idea. We're in the woods. Yeah, they give us like these paper cover-up type things.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what kind of guns they were back then. I think they had like little, like 10-ball type.
Yeah.
I think
Like
they were
stick
little
fed?
tubes, I
Stick
want to
fed,
say.
yeah.
Yeah. And so they you know, we got a bunch of us, so we're like a team. And then obviously there's a bunch of other people up there. So now they put us out there. I want to say these guys were like Army service guys or National Guard, ghillie suits. They got painted faces. You know, they start on one side of the woods, we start on the other. We're running through the woods. You don't even see these guys. You're getting sniped from all over. You know, we're getting full of paint. We did like maybe 2 rounds. We went back to our car. We took everything off. F this. We're going home. This is horrible.
Yeah.
Dirty, horrible, man. Our sneakers are ruined, you know. We don't know. We're kids from Queens. So, you know, that was it. So in 2009, my brother-in-law is getting married, and he says he doesn't want to do a crazy bachelor party. We're going to go to Cousins Paintball on Grandy Road.
Granny Road there,
in
yeah.
the Pines there, and we're going to play paintball. So there's a whole bunch of us. One of my guys, Dom, that works for me, we all go out to this thing, and it's a great fun time. In the woods, on the hyperball field, just playing it. There was like 8-10 fields back there, I think.
Yeah.
I don't even remember
Yeah.
how many. There was one to the left, over here, all these fields, and we're just going through all of them and shooting Titmans and rentals and masks, and they give you everything. And we're in the woods playing one time, and a couple of kids are like running down through the woods, and they got like nicer guns and
Yeah.
equipment. And I remember my buddy Dom saying, this is probably a lot more fun if you have like nicer stuff, not the stinky mask and the crappy gun.
Right.
and tat 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 tat, and the guys are, so
Cutting
we're
down
like,
the trees.
Yeah, cutting down trees, and we're like, so we leave there, a great day, and I used to go to this pawn shop, not pawn shop near my house where I would get tools for work. So
Yeah.
I remember going in looking for some stuff for work, and up on the wall I go, is that a paintball gun? And the guy's like, yeah, you went to paintball? I said, man, we went and did a thing. It seemed like it was really fun if you had something nicer. He's like, hang on a second. He goes in the back. He comes out with like a big tub. And he's like, listen, I got a whole ton of paintball stuff in here. There's guns, there's tanks, there's clothes, all this stuff. I don't even know what it is. Give me $200, it's yours. He throws the one off the wall in, so I take this thing home. Now, my older son, he used to play paintball at Cousins Indoor in Hop Hog.
Yeah.
Which, coincidentally now, my younger son plays soccer there. That's where the Sousa building is. I guess years ago they took it over, or another soccer facility took it over, and it went from paintball to soccer. So he used to play there when he was like 14, 15, 16, and he was like sponsored by Reds back then. And, so he comes, and we're looking through the thing. There's like an Ion. I don't have any idea what that is. And there's some other cheap
Ion's
guns.
not bad,
Like,
Yeah, not
like,
bad.
I want to say like Emex or something like that. I don't even remember. And there's some tanks, but they're like, he's like, no, these aren't the good. These are, oxygen tanks or whatever. They're not the NO2 tanks. And I don't know anything back then, know. And there's dye. I still have the dye backpack from that thing. I still have it in my paintball stuff. And there was dye jerseys, and there was all dye pants, and there was a ton of stuff. It was a good deal. So me being me, I start like now looking.
Yeah.
I'm on Craigslist looking for paintball. I'm on eBay. I'm looking for paintball stuff. So I'm checking. I don't know anything about it. So I go back into this place like a month later, or the guy calls me. He's like, hey, dude, I got some new paintball stuff. And he had, I want to say it was an E-Tech gun and 2 brand new dye loaders. And he's like, yeah, give me like $300, And it turned out it was like a $400 or $500 gun, and those loaders were like $150, $200 each. They were brand new, never used.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, I'll take them, And with that, from investigating and stuff, I had gotten some guy, I think he was like from the Smithtown area, had a Chris Lasoya 2K2 gun.
Ooh.
Intimidator.
Timmy.
Yeah, blue and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'll take it. I went and met that guy, bought that, and that was like, that wasn't like in 2009, 2010, that was still like an old gun.
Yeah.
Right.
And then my son's like, oh, you got to get a Bob Long. So I'm looking online. I find a Bob Long. I don't even remember which one. I get that. I don't really like that. The Lasoya gun was too slow, and I'm looking for fast. I'm like, I want fast. And then he's like, oh, maybe a dye gun. I remember I got I want to say like an 08 dye or an 06 dye. And to me, it was heavy. I didn't like that. And then I find this place called Virtue.
Yeah.
And Virtue like upgrades your boards for the guns, and upgrades a board for the dye rotor.
Right.
So I order some stuff online, and I get it, and I put it all in, and we're playing, and like the loader's not working right. So I look up Virtue, and I see they're in Hop Hog, New York.
Yeah, I'm coming to you, Newman.
And I don't know Mike Newman at the time, and I'm like, I'm in Hop Hog like every day, and I'm like, as a matter of fact, my old boss from in the 80s where I used to work was in that same building he was in 14 OSA, or 40 OSA, and he was on the end, and Mike was 14. So I knock on the front door, I go in, I say, oh, I ordered this, and he says, oh, come in, and he brings me to Mike LaBella. First time I meet Mike LaBella. I became very good friends with him over the years, and he's working on the loader, and so now I'm like, all right, I'm in an office, and I'm in the warehousing industry, and I'm like, oh, he's got a warehouse. So I'm interested. So
Right.
I say, Mike, you got like racking and stuff in there? And he's like, why? And I'm like, well, that's what I do. He's like, oh, you do racking for a living. Ding, 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 bells are going off in my head. I'm like, you need racking? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, what do you need? And he's like, oh, I want to take me in the back. I'm like, oh, we could put a couple of sections here. He's like, you'd be interested in doing a barter? And I'm like, 150%. Doing a barter. So, we did a small rack job, and he gave me a thing, and I got some Virtue jerseys, and I got some more boards and stuff like that. you know, and then some time goes by, and I want to say that was like 2011, 2012, and then he calls me back, and he's like, listen, I need to do more rack. I'm growing. I'm bringing in some new products. And so I go back, and, you know, it's a bigger job and more money. And I'm like, yeah, well, let's do a barter again. So now him and I become very close. We're doing a lot of work. I'm doing a lot of work in his building. And he's coming out with new products. So he comes out with Vios.
Yeah.
I
The
think were
mask.
the mask that he came out with. So now you know, I'm the first one with everything.
Yeah.
You had a bunch of them.
Right. So I
remember
have
that.
tons of stuff, right? And I'm bartering all this stuff, and I have, you know, so I'm taking goods, and I'm going to High-Vi indoor, and I'm playing there, and I'm making my way. You know, I'm a rookie, I'm a noob,
Yeah.
and you know, I'm learning. But you know, people like, well, what are those goggles? You know, and I'm like, oh, these are the new Virtue Vios. How did you get those? You know, I know Mike. I work at his building, and you know, and then. You know, I guess I'm a generous guy. So,
Yeah,
you know, this is where at some point in time I meet Anthony Baracco.
Oh, okay.
At the time. And he's like, what, you know, the goggles. And I'm like, oh, you want a pair? And I give him a pair. And he's like, who the fuck is this guy just giving me goggles, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm giving away stuff, basically.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm getting so much of it, and I can't obviously use it all. And it's making my way
Yeah.
into the paintball world, you know?
Right.
Who is this guy, you know? So then, like, you know, I think it was like the next year, he wanted a ton more work done, and I'm like, let's barter some more. I love having equipment and having access to all the new stuff and everything I want. You know?
Right.
And he was a nice guy, and, you know, we had a nice thing going. So he comes out with the Spire loader. Now I'm the first one with the Spire loader.
Yo, what's that, Magic?
And
What do you
everybody's
got?
like, yeah, I come down to High-Vi, I got the Spire loader, you know. And at this time, so now he introduces me, or he tells me that he's, you know, I think they sponsor Tampa Bay Damage, and they are shooting Luxes, and he introduces me to Daryl at Lux, and then now he's getting me, you know, Luxes for a team price, and I'm buying Luxes, you know, and now I came across somebody like just prior to that would have used one. And I find a Lux gun, and that becomes my favorite marker, you know, and everybody finds one, and it becomes their
Yeah.
favorite.
Right.
And I just happen to be a Lux guy. And so he, you know, he makes some introductions there. I'm ordering guns through him,
Right.
And you know, you know, luckily for me, I can afford to play paintball and have the best of everything. Knock on wood, and so I'm getting all of this stuff, and I'm coming to High-Vi, and I'm coming. You know, I got a half a dozen loaders in my bag.
Yeah.
And people are like, and I'm like, oh, you want a loader? Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
how
no.
much? Take a loader.
Yeah.
You know, because I have them.
Yeah.
You know, here's some goggles, here's some loader. I'm getting swabs, I'm getting towels, I'm getting pods. I'm bringing everything in, and I'm just
Yeah.
hooking everybody up. That's just who I am.
The Oprah of high velocity indoor.
Yeah,
You get
you
a
know.
loader, and you get a loader.
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
get a loader.
you're exactly right. And so everybody's like, who is this guy? You know, but I'm introducing, it's opening doors.
Right. No,
Yeah.
100%.
You know, so at this point in time, then I meet Andy Hahn. And at the time, he's the High-Vi Wrecking Crew guy. So now, like you said, I meet another guy by the name of Ryan Wozni, and he was a baller who played at Arena Paintball,
Okay.
Paintball Arena. And when I was looking for guns, I find this guy online, and he sells guns. So I'm looking, and I see this one gun. Back in the day, Hostile made a gun called the Hostile Rogue.
Yeah.
It was like a pre-production gun. They never really made the gun, but they made a bunch of them.
Gotcha.
And this guy happened to have one. So he's like, how much? He's like, $750. I'm like, I'll take it. Nobody's ever seen or heard of this gun.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is probably 2012. So I take that gun from him, and then I meet him at a Home Depot parking lot in Deer Park. He's like from Farmingdale. I'm from out east. And then, so again, my brain is always like a new paintball connection. There's
Yeah.
got to be some sort of connection. So I say to him, hey, what do you do for a living? He's like, oh, I used to do heating and air conditioning, but I just got laid off. I go, you looking for work? Because I need a guy.
Yeah.
So he says, yeah. So I said, well, on Monday, be at this address, and I'll teach you how to do what we do, and you'll work for me. He still works for me today.
That's awesome.
Yes, it's 9 years later, right? So now he's my guy to get some guns, because he was buying and selling guns for money.
Right.
Right.
So we start going to paintball arena with him, and me and my buddy Dom, who's like one of my lead guys. I've known him for a long time. We're playing together, and we hear about a 3-man tournament. So we go play it. So now That tournament was in Calverton.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I think the year before, they moved from Quorum.
To Calvington.
They
Yeah.
had a hyperball tournament.
Okay.
So me, Dom, and my son went and entered in the hyper. I think there was 12 teams. We came in like 10th or 11th.
Yeah.
We're like, at least we weren't last.
Yeah, right?
And I think Ryan and his two friends came in second or third. And so they got some prizes. We got nothing, but we had a lot of fun, and it was great. And so, you know, I meet him. He's another guy. He's, you know, and then Paintball Arena goes away, and we're going to High-Vi and become friends with James and Andrew Smith and Stan. And they, you know,
Good guys.
go in there all the time, and they
Yeah.
get to know us and, you know, treat me like gold. And, you know, they're really like, you know, I consider them part of the Bear family because, you know, without them, you know, they help get me along. And, you know, from playing there all the time, you know, I meet a guy, Craig Scatoro. He
Yeah.
was Crush, I
Yeah.
want to say, back in the day.
Craig. Yeah,
Okay,
he
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of like. I don't want to say he was the man. You know, he was another guy that was trying to help people. And,
Yeah,
and
he
do
was a
right by
great guy.
people.
I think he was the compressor guy.
Yeah, he would do
so
the compressor.
he, you know, he always had, you know, a lot of paint. He's the one who taught me shoot a lot of paint, right? And that, you don't shoot a lot of paint when you're a kid because paint's a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah.
But I can afford to shoot paint, so we're going indoor, him and I, with like 8 pods on. In an indoor thing, you know, people are like going out with 2 pods. We're just
Yeah.
ripping paint from the corner.
Yeah.
They used to call him, I think, Craigie Lang, right?
Craigie Lang, exactly.
And then so we go to the first event, and you know, like him and his guys murder us, and you know, we I don't know how we come in last or whatever, second to last again, and then that was the first CTS.
Yeah, I
and then
remember.
I think
That's
we
where I
didn't do
seen
the
you. I saw
second
you the
one. I
first
think
one.
we went to the third one, and then Ritter, who worked for Virtue.
yeah.
He came with me and Dom and Waz, and he played with us. And that third event, we actually came in third place.
Yeah, he
There you
was.
go.
He's good.
Yeah, Ritter was good.
He's
You
a
know?
silent. You know what
Yeah,
I'm trying
silent,
to
quiet guy. He knew how to play. Waz was good. So we had 2 guys who really knew how to play. Dom was, you know, younger than me, so he was a little bit, you know, I played a few points. He played a few points. I remember the last point. I told him, "You go in, man. I don't."
Yeah.
We had just tons of fun, you know. So from there, and I want to say that was like 2013.
Yeah, 2013.
Yeah, and 2014, I meet Andy, and he's got the High-Vi. Now, I just want to play paintball.
Right.
I just want to play speedball, and I just want to get on the field, and I want to be in tournaments.
Right.
Exactly.
So I'm begging Andy, you know, like, Andy, he's like, Magic, you know, you're a beginner. And I'm like, I just want to play with you guys. And I think they had like D4, and I'm
Right.
definitely a beginner. So, Andy, I'll get the guys goggles, I'll get the guys loaders, you know, swabs, I'll bring stuff, you know, I just want to play. So he takes us up to Boston, to Maynard.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
and-
NEPL.
And NEPL. And he's like, okay, Magic. I go to the first event, and I'm not on the roster. I'm just going to help. And so, and they end up, I think, coming in. I don't know if they won that one or
They
came
came.
in second.
I think they came the first when they came in second, and when we were there, we did terrible. We got like 8th place. Worst we ever did.
Yeah. So then the next time we go, he has our team and he has a D2 team, and like Labella comes to play with the D2 team, and I come. And now I'm going to dress. He gets me my High-Vi jersey, and Magic, you're on the squad. And, you know, I don't know if you'll play, but, you know, we'll try to get you in. So I don't get to play all day.
Oh.
And we get to the finals. And we're in the last match, and it's like 4-1 with like a minute left. Magic, you're in. I'm over the moon, man.
Yeah.
Right? So, and now I'm wearing like the HK cleats that have the 2 different ones you can change.
Yeah.
And apparently I have the wrong ones on. So, no joke, we're at the box. The buzzer goes, I go to run to the thing, whoop, boom, on my ass, get shot, I'm out, 5 seconds.
At least you didn't get a penalty.
Nicky Cuba is standing at the net watching. My first time meeting him, I'm on my back. And the first thing he says is, dude, you're wearing the wrong cleats. On this, like it's rolled out like turf up there.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
You
because
need turf
Nicky
cleats,
came
need
with
spikes.
us, dude. Nicky came with us, the
Nicky
coach.
Nicky came with you, the
guy.
coach.
Yes,
and
yeah.
so, but we win that event. I'm crying because I'm so excited that they just let me be a part of it. And I got up on the picnic table. I was telling the guys, you
Yeah.
don't understand. Andy was hysterical. We won. We're taking pictures. I think my son might have came with me. We might have some pictures of that. And that was my first experience winning. It was phenomenal. And, you know, like whenever you win something, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a pro.
It feels good,
Winning
man.
your first thing is just the best feeling ever.
Uh-huh.
Right? It doesn't matter what sport you're playing. It doesn't matter what
know,
level
man.
you're playing it at. You win at your level, you're ecstatic. And I was. And that was the start. So now from there, I want to progress in paintball.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to get higher level. And Andy's telling me, Magic, slow down. You want to play these events and get better and keep a low ranking. And I'm like, Andy, I'm like 50, bro.
Yeah.
I want to be a pro.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, no, I don't have a lot of time. I just want to play paintball and I want to be a pro.
Right. How do I do this now?
How do I do it now? So, you know, from going to High Vi, that's where I meet Baracco. Baracco, I think at the time was the White Tea Gang. And then they switched over to the Stratton Oakmont Bears. And
Right.
it's Baracco, it's Labella, it's Kyle Casamento, Kyle O'Gara, who we lost this year. I mean, another guy, young, gone. It's ridiculous. You know, and just, you know, Sea Otter. Yeah, remember Sea Otter, right?
With this thing here.
Yeah. And those guys, Jimmy.
Jimmy
Tubes.
Jimmy Corcoran.
Yeah, he's on the team, and you know, I want to be part of the team. So I start getting stuff for them, and I'm like, listen, I can get stuff. I can help sponsor you guys. I think we went to Chicago. I went with them, and that was 2014. I think it was 2014 as well. It might have been. Yeah, it was 14, or I forget which one it was. And you know, I watched them play. I think the event before that was, I remember being at MAO with them.
Right.
I think it was 2014 where they beat Joey
Leverage.
and Robbie and Leverage
To get into the finals.
and then I think they lost to
Rack
Rack City
City.
Clutch. Labella got shot on the one-on-ones. They lost on the one-on-ones.
I remember
Man.
that.
They beat Leverage in one-on-ones and then lost to Rack City in
Ooh.
one-on-ones, and that was 2000. That was MAO 2014. So
14,
sometime in
yeah.
there, I think after MAO, we went to Chicago, and then the next year we started in, I want to say Dallas was that first event that year when it was still the PSP,
Oh, that was the mud one.
the mud one,
Yeah.
and that that's when I dressed, and the very first point of that event, the very first match, they put me out. And I played with those guys. That was my first match. I want to say it was Dallas that year. And it was crazy. It was raining.
Always
I
raining in
remember
Texas.
I'm shooting with the guy in the corner. I remember the first pod I grab is wet. I'm nervous. I drop it. I have to grab another one. You know, but I'm out there. I'm doing my thing. The guys, every one of these guys from day one always cheered me on. No matter that, you know, no matter what.
Right.
They always told me, that's it, Magic, that's it. Always gave me the confidence to go out and play at their level.
Right.
And playing at their level is what made me much better.
Right.
'Cause
Right.
the better you play with or play against, the better you get. So, you know, then it switched over. Then I want to say NXL in 15
To Cleveland.
to Cleveland.
Cleveland,
And then it was Cleveland, Virginia, and Cup.
Cup.
And at that time, that's when we kind of had the merger. You know, we just kind of put together. I knew like the Leverage guys weren't playing. It was Joey, Robbie, and Richie, and they weren't playing. And then it was, you know, Baracco and them and Kevin Conklin and those guys. And I remember saying, you know, talking to Baracco about it, I'm like, we should get these guys to play, man. These guys are good. And they didn't always get along. And I'm like, yeah, but
Who
you want to
cares?
win.
Right.
Right.
Getting along, you know, you could figure that out. And then I remember having a meeting, and those guys wanted to go to Division One. You know, back then it was Division One, not semi-pro.
Right.
Right.
And you know, these guys were like, we didn't even win in Division Two. Let's stay in Division Two and try to win. So Labella left, Conklin left, Casamento, O'Gara. I think we played one event. It might have been Dallas that we played together.
Right.
And then when we went to Cleveland, it was Baracco, Frank, Scotty, you know, Joey, Robbie, Jared, and Richie. And at that time, we didn't have Nick. No, we didn't have Jared yet. So we go to Cleveland, and we play Cleveland. And I want to say it's on the drive home from Cleveland. We did okay. And Joey's like, oh, you know, Jared would probably be a help. And I'm like, get him on the phone. And this is my first thing with Jared. Call him on the phone. You coming to play for us? He's like, who the fuck is that? You're coming to play for us. It's Magic Mike. And I'm with Joey. We're in the car. We're driving home. The next event. Be ready. You're playing. And he's like, what are you talking? You're playing. Forget about it. You're playing. So he does come and play. And we go to Virginia, and we take second place in Virginia. We lose to Miami Rage in the finals. And Alfred De Los Santos, De Los, I call him. He was playing with us. I love Alfred, another great guy in my life, paintball life. And he comes out and plays with us. And we got Robbie in the Snake, Alfred in the home, and Richie's up in the Dorito. And Richie just happened to look inside for just a second. The Dorito guy came down, shot him in the back. Alfred was looking Snake, shot him in the back, and then they got Robbie. It was like a 8-minute point, the first point, and we're down 1-0.
Yeah.
And then we had to come out strong, and we ended up getting shot, getting penalties, and we ended up getting 5-0'd, and we lost in the finals, but we were in second place. So now we go to World Cup, and we're in a good spot. And we end up getting to the finals again at World Cup, and we're against Rich Italia's son, and
Distortion. Image.
Montreal Image at the time. Great pull. You know your paintball better than most people I've ever met. And we get down, we play them to a tie, and then we play a 5-minute overtime to a tie, and then everybody knows it's one-on-ones.
Yeah.
After 5 minutes, and they're like, "Oh man, we're going to one-on-ones. We don't have any paint." And then the refs are like, "Another 5-minute overtime," and they're like, "Magic, we don't have paint." And they're like, "Ready? You got a minute." And I run to go get a case. I come back and we lost.
Jesus.
They called Jared on a major, pulled 3 guys, and Pat was our coach, losing his mind, throwing his clipboard, yelling, screaming. We got robbed. Even Image was ready for one-on-ones. Everybody knew it was one-on-ones. And then the ref said, no, in the finals it goes to 2 5-minute overtime. Nobody's ever heard of that before.
Right.
That was like a made-up thing. I don't know where it came from. They called Jared on a major. I come back and it's over.
You're like,
But
what the F, dude?
Sound shady, bro.
sound shady, but the second place gives us the series. So we are now the Division Series champs for that year and 2015, and we are moving to semi-pro 2016. So now the whole year, I know these guys are friend with Nick Crishone, and I'm like, Nick, you got to come and play with us. And he's with NWL. And Nick is a great guy, and one of the things I respect about him so much is that he's like, Magic, I committed to these guys for the year, and I have to keep that commitment. And you got to love that about a person.
Right.
You respect it and you love it. And I said, well, next year you're going to come and play with the Bears. So we bring them on next year. We go to Las Vegas, that first event, 2016, and the Bears come out on top. We win our first event at semi-pro. We're the first semi-pro team. We're the first Division II team to ever bump up to semi-pro and win the first event.
Yeah.
I remember we were out eating, and I met Dave Baines, was one of the first pros I meet, and he's with Bart Yakamack, and we're out to eat. And actually, it was the next event. We were in Texas, and we're out to eat. And Dave says, "Oh, this is Magic Mike. He owns the Bears. They're the team that won semi-pro the last event. They bumped up from Division II and won their first event." And even Bart was like, "That's never happened before. You know how hard that is. You bumped up to a division full of semi-pro teams. That was DMG was in there, NYX was in there. All those ML Kings,
Yep.
Scottsdale, GK Paris played that event. We ended up beating them. There was a lot of teams.
There was talent, dude.
Yeah, because I think last year Ralph's came up and won. They bumped up from 2 to semi-pro and won the first event. But like all of us guys were already gone. There was no aftermath. There was no DMG. There was no Scottsdale. There was no NYX. There was no Bears. Yeah, they did it. You can't take that away from them, and I never would. They did a great job, and I know a lot of those guys. But the quality, I think, of the semi-pro thing was a little bit different. And I'm not trying to take anything away. I don't like to take away from anybody.
Half the teams you just listed out are pro teams in the NXL now. So
yeah,
something to be said for that.
There is, and so that was a big thing. And then we went to Dallas that year, and we took 3rd place. And then so we were looking good. And then at the end of 16, I think we ended up like in 4th or 5th place. And that was the year DMG moved.
They had a good season.
I think that might have been the year. No, was 16 was the year they moved?
Was that Katana moved?
I think Katana moved that year, right? And we murdered Katana when we played them. I think we 5-0'd them. You know, so teams like that, we used to beat all of these teams. Like we beat NYX. I think they've only played us to a tie once. You know, DMG is the only team we never beat. We played them to a tie. They actually tied us in Vegas the year we won. We were up 4-0. I forget how much time was left, and they came back, and literally Brusselback was this far away from the buzzer
When time expired.
to make it 5-4, and it ended up in a 4-4 tie. That's how close they were good.
Yeah.
And they showed you, but I told my guys that was a valuable lesson we learned, that you can't give up, and it's never easy. And I think that helped us win that year. And so bringing Nick on, I knew that was all a big thing. And you know, and then so we ended up, you know, they took Katana, I think, that year, and then the next year we go to Vegas, we make it to the finals against DMG, and they beat us, I think, 2-1. And then we go to Texas, we're in the finals with DMG again, and I'm telling the guys, like, we belong here, man. It's us and them. And I think that was the point where it was like a 14-minute point. It got down to Robbie and I forget what his name was. And he runs for the buzzer, and Robbie is shooting at him, and it's really hard to tell if he shot him before or after. And then the ref tells Robbie, go hit your buzzer. He hits the buzzer. Robbie goes hits the buzzer, and then they say it's DMG, and we're like, no, we shot him first. And there's a camera right there. We're like, we're on the pro field. It's the finals. Go back to the video, and they're like, that camera wasn't working. Like, to us, it was like another one of those shady stuff. And I still break their balls about it today. And so they win. So we go second. We get to Atlantic City. We're doing well in Atlantic City. They're doing well in Atlantic City. We get to Sunday. Baltimore Nasty, John and those guys beat DMG in Atlantic City. And then we're playing the ML Kings. And I remember that match, man. It's a tight match, running down on time. It got down to Robbie and the Snake, and it was their Dorito player and I think Pavel in the middle. And Scott Schechter is coaching us, and people are like, you know, get ready to hang it. You know, we got to save time, you know. And then he goes to buzz it, and I'm like, no. And Robbie just shot the Dorito guy, and Scott buzzed it, and it would have been a one-on-one. So they went up 2-1. There was like 3 minutes left. They held us off for 3 minutes. We ended up losing to them, and we came in 4th place. But DMG came in 9th place, and so we were first overall after 3 events, and it was a good feeling.
Looking good, yeah.
We're looking good. So we go to Chicago. Unfortunately, Chicago, we don't have a good event, and we come in 11th. And DMG wins again. So DMG's got 3 wins, and we're like second, 4th, 11th, and we're like in 4th place now, and going to World Cup. So I get Max Lundqvist, who I know the Lundqvist brothers. I met them through Virtue and stuff. Max, come and play with us. He comes and plays with us, and we're playing World Cup, and we make it a Sunday, and we're playing Scottsdale, and earlier in the day, I remember I'm in the VIP tent. I'm with Bart, I'm with Dave, and I'm with Tom Cole. And I'm saying, listen, Tom, I'm hearing a possible, you know, extra couple of teams. You know,
I'm hearing some stuff.
I'm hearing some stuff. Maybe you're going to go back to 20 teams. And the Magic, there's no way that can happen with the new format, you know, and the time and the length of time we have in the day. I can't do it. It's just going to be, you know, one team is going to get relegated and one team's going to go up. And at this point, we know it's going to be DMG. So I'm telling the guys, just play everybody and have fun. And so we're playing Scottsdale Elevation on Sunday, and we go to overtime. And we're in the last point, and we shoot 2 of them. They shoot 1 of us. We're up 4-3. I remember Joey saying to me, Magic, I knew we were going to win it, man, and we were going to move on. We were going to be top 4. And then all of a sudden, flag goes up. They pull Robbie out of the snake on a pack hit. So they pull Robbie and another guy, and Robbie's like, what the fuck? Where am I hit? And they throw another flag. Talking.
Jesus.
They take Robbie and 2 guys, and it gets down. It goes from us 4-on-3 to them 3-on-1 against Frank. I think Frank might have got one of those guys. The other 2 got him. We lost to Scottsdale. So, you know, fast forward, we go home. And I'm like, I grabbed the guys afterward. It was probably an emotional decision, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm done. It's getting too much about winning, and it's not fun. And I was the guy who preached it's got to be fun. And the guys, we were all, it was a solemn moment, and I'm like, I need a break. And so, we went home from there. So in January of 18, I get a call from Mike Newman. He's at the winter meetings in Vegas, and he said, Magic, do you and the Bears want to be a pro team? Mike, why even ask? That's my goal the whole time, is being a pro team. That's all I've ever wanted. And he's like, oh, we're working on something. They want to have a team from the East Coast, and the Bears have a name. They like the way you guys present yourselves and all of that. And I'm like, okay, but there's other teams in front of us. So how's that going to work?
Right.
And I'm not that type of guy. Like, I don't want something
If you don't deserve it.
that we didn't earn, and I certainly don't want to. Like, I know NYX came in second.
Mm-hmm.
I know Distortion came in third, but they folded. ML Kings was fourth. Scottsdale was fifth, and we were sixth.
Right.
So when Distortion went out, it went to DMG, NYX, ML Kings, Scottsdale, and we were out by 3 points. And I remember I called up Bo, and I said, Bo, not for nothing, bro, but I'm hearing words that they want to take another pro team and they want to ask the Bears, but I know you guys came in second, and I just know you too well to like be the guy who takes that spot.
Right.
Some people, like, if they offer you the spot, you just take it.
Right.
And that might have ruined it for me, but like I just didn't want it that way. you
Right.
know, and maybe my guys did, but I think they respected my decision. And then it came out that they were taking 4 teams, and they took those 4 teams, and we missed it. And that was the end of that.
That was the solemn way to go out, man.
Yeah, solemn way to go out. So
But I mean, what? So you heard so that's end of 18.
yes.
End of 18, you're gone.
Well, end of 17, we're
17.
gone. So 18, January of 18, this happens. June of 18, hey guys, NXL's in Atlantic City, let's go. We go to Atlantic City. We don't have, now Frank's playing with Aftermath.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie was playing with NWO, giving them help. So I got like Nick, I got Joey Jarrett, I got me. We asked Newman to play with us. I got Aaron Ormond from Virtue.
Right.
He comes and play with us. We win our first point. We beat who did I forget who we beat now, but
Was it Nasty or no?
no, we did beat Nasty, but we beat probably someone we shouldn't have beat. I forget who it was, but Scotty Graham was playing with them, because I remember
Distortion? Was it Distortion or no?
I think it might have been Image with him playing.
Okay.
Okay.
For them. And because I remember they had the big brick as the home bunker, and I was living in there. And I remember when I went out for that point, my gun was down. I had to take my whole gun apart. I put it back together. I pop out, and I nailed Scotty Graham in the goggles. Baracco's on the side of the net. I can hear him screaming, Magic just got Scotty Graham. And we end up beating them, but we lose to Southern Rage.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
But Nick had a wedding to go to, so he missed 2 games.
okay.
So we ended up going 2-2. I think we came in 10th, and hey, we had a good time.
Whatever.
Right.
Reunion.
Yeah, if we had the guys, we might have won the event. But like I said, Frank's playing with Aftermath, Robbie's playing with NWO, and we're just having fun anyway. We had a great time in Atlantic City. It was a lot of fun. We all hung out. You meet everybody, you see everybody, you have a good time.
Right.
And that's what we did. So then, we don't play any more paintball. We get together, little things here and there,
Right.
and then the next year they move it to Valley Forge, PA.
Yeah.
The 1 year we go out there, we play that. I think we went 2-2 again, came in 10th again. We had, again, we didn't have Frank. Robbie was playing with NYX.
Yeah.
We put together a squad. I think I had Guppy from Distortion, and man, I'm so bad with names, man. I'm sorry.
You remembered a lot of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Did
and I'm
pretty well so
sorry.
far.
It'll come to me, but he came and played with us, and we went 2-2 again, but we beat Nasty. We lost to the Tauntauns were there,
Yeah, man.
and they're
Pretty legit.
They're really good. Like, I think what our whole team, we could have gave them a better match, but they're a pro
They're a
team.
pro team.
They're a
Yeah.
real pro team that should be a pro team here, but they they have to play in the semi-pro division when
Right.
they come. So,
Especially now with the new rules, I don't think they can if they want to be a pro team in Europe. So
yeah. Mitch Finley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Sorry,
say it was a
Mitch. Sorry, Mitch.
distortion.
If you
I
ever
was
see
gonna
this,
say
man,
that
I
distortion guy.
apologize for forgetting you, but I knew it was 2 guys and it would come to me. And, so then 19 finished up and, we were looking to do something this year. I went to Vegas. I'm good friends with all the guys from Houston Heat.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Vegas to help them out. Robbie was with NYX. Frank was with Revo.
Right.
And watched the Vegas event. The pandemic hit while I was in Vegas. That became a big thing.
yeah.
I remember flying home. It was like everybody was a little weird.
Right, yeah.
And I get home and then everything shuts down.
They shut
and
Vegas down the week. It
Yeah.
was like the paintball event, and the week after there was nobody on the strip.
Nothing. And I remember because every year my son's birthday is in April, and every year I take him to the Dallas event since he's I don't know, 10 years old.
So it always
Or
rains on his
8
birthday.
Years old.
Right.
And it's always a mess. It's always a mess on his birthday. And because Texas is always a mess.
Always.
And then this year I book everything for him to go to where we always go, because it just says
Right.
Texas, and then it comes out it's Round Rock. It's not in Dallas Fort Worth.
Yeah,
this year.
yeah.
They moved it, and I had hotels, flights, everything. So I go on, I change everything
Yeah.
to go to Round Rock, and we're gonna go. We're not gonna be playing. I'm gonna take him. We're gonna enjoy the event. He'll run pods for Heat. 'Cause
Right.
They'll let him do. They take care of the Heat's like another family for me. They take care of me like you can't believe.
I've seen you on the D's on docks with the donuts.
Yeah, you saw me on the D's on docks with the donuts. Real quick. I don't know how much time we have because I'm rattling away.
Yeah.
It's all good.
And so in last year, I call Sarge from Houston Heat because I'm close with all the guys because they're a Lux team, and we were a Lux team. So from being behind the Lux booth, getting ready for all the events, and actually, us doing pretty well. Those guys respected us. All the guys on Heat always were very, very friendly. They're a great group of guys, and really difficult to meet a group. They're pro paintball players, but they do not act like that. They act like regular guys, all for the game, no egos, all of them. And
Yeah.
I became friends with everybody, And so I call Sarge, if I come to Amsterdam, can I get an honorary point with the team? Just 1 point. So he's like, I think we could work that out. You're going to come to Amsterdam. So I said, yeah. So this is like months before.
Uh-huh.
So he says, call Yaya and tell him to make your jersey. All right? And I said, no problem. So I call Yaya. I said, Yaya, I talked to Sarge. And Sarge says, I can come to Amsterdam, and he's going to try to get me on the field with you guys 1 point. So I said, no problem. So a buddy of mine, he works for the airline. He puts me on his, me and my wife are on his companion passes, and we fly to Amsterdam,
Sweet.
like that Wednesday.
They're pretty dope.
And crazy going to Amsterdam because the time thing is like 6 hours difference. So you
It's
leave,
like half a day.
you leave here at 6 o'clock at night, and when you get there, it's 7:30 in the morning. And but you're exhausted. But
Yeah.
everybody says you got to get there. You got to stay up otherwise, because if you go there and go to bed, so they're like, get in, maybe take a nap. So Wednesday we get in, we take a little nap, we go around Amsterdam. It's October weather there, so it's a little rainy, overcast, cool, not terrible. And then Thursday, I'm like, got to go to the field, got to go practice with the guys. So
Right.
I get all geared up, I got all my stuff, and I'm hanging in there. And Sarge is like, they're practicing Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Sarge is like, your turn, Magic. Get out there. So now K-Fed says, Magic, you're going to go to this bunker, and then you're going to dive across to here. And I'm like, K-Fed doesn't really know how old I am, I guess. I don't know what he thinks, but I'm going to do what he says. So Sarge says to me, Magic, I'm going to just tell you this one time. You get out there, and you last a minimum of 30 seconds. That's all I need to ask
Just
from
don't
you.
die.
Just don't die. Buzzer goes off. Go to run to the tower. I don't even make it to the tower. Tim Montressor shoots me in my leg. And another guy gone way too soon.
Oh,
and a guy
forget
that
it.
just I had so much respect for and loved
One of
that
the best
guy.
guys.
And when I found out from other people that know him, he had the same respect for me. I was literally in tears. So I come off, and Sarge is like, "What'd I tell you, Magic? You're done for the day." And I'm okay. So I got to practice 5 seconds. So now the event starts on Friday, and they go their first match. I forget who they played, and I want to say they lose 7-6, and they're like down, and they're coming back, and they just run out of time. And I remember it's Nick Laval and Mouse are doing the little webcast, and I'm walking around the pit, and I go, "Who's Magic Mike on the Houston Heat?" They don't know me, but I think they kind of know me if they see me, but they don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
So then, we pack up, we go back. It was a great almost comeback, and then we played the second match. I want to say, I think it was against like the Droogs or something.
Okay.
And they go up 4-0. And Sarge is like, "Magic, you're up." And I start like, I'm literally shaking. And so Yaya's like, "Listen, wear my pack," because I had a Carbon pack. Carbon's always been one of our sponsors, and he tells me, wear my pack. And then Chad George, "Magic, man, just relax. Come out here, have fun. That's why you're here. It's a fun time, and it's what I preach to everybody." And I'm like, "I'm so nervous, bro." And he's like, just stay alive, right?
You're right.
So now K-Fed starts to step in again, going, "Magic, you're going to make that move." And Sarge is like, "He's not doing that. He's not doing that." Going to the home. You just go to the home. It's like 3 steps up, and I want you to shoot the Dorito corner. So now out there in the European League, it's 4 pods in a hopper.
Yeah.
So I got my 4 pods, Yaya's pack, got my jersey. I'm going out on the field with Houston Heat, and it's a dream.
Yeah. Surreal.
So it's for real. So I come off the thing, and I'm just ripping my gun at the Dorito corner, and I'm in, I'm out, and I see paint coming, and I feel good, and it's like a 4-minute point. I'm staying there. Now, Nico Hyde was nice enough, and when I tell you all these guys, he like literally had his phone inside the net videoing me. And this was like the first event, like the European League didn't want to use Go Sports anymore. So they didn't have like all the cameras and everything, and the coverage wasn't like, it wasn't Matty Marshall and those guys, so I wasn't getting any recognition really that way on the webcast. And so I'm out there ripping away. Ryan Moorhead goes to go up to the Dorito. He gets shot, and I'm like, "Oh, pro game, got to fill out." And I shooting my gun, ripping across. I fill out. I hear Nico's dad, Gary, go, "Oh, man, good fill out, Magic." and next thing I know, Ronnie Dizon's all the way up the field. Chad George is all the way up the field. Ryan Smith is in his spot, and it's me.
Yeah.
And yo, Magic. And they're calling me, "Come and hit the buzzer, bro." And like I remember walking down, and I go to high five Chad, and he's like, "No, you can't touch each other."
No touching.
But I'm on cloud 9, man. I go, I'm not hit anywhere. I hit the buzzer. Moorhead's in the pit because you can hear him on my video. That's Mr. 100%. He wins 100% of the pro points he plays. That's Mr. 100 right there. So, that was my Houston Heat. The next day, they're up again in the match against somebody else. Sarge calls me again. I go out for another point. This time we all get shot. I get shot. And now I'm Mr. 50%. But, I had my chance with Houston Heat, and it was amazing time, man. And I can't thank those guys enough. Every single one of them treat me like family. Sarge treats me like family. All the dads, all the moms. Literally, my name is getting – the crowd is – screaming Magic Mike, and yes, and that. We come out to shake hands, Magic. Hear people. It was just you can't
surreal,
repeat that.
Man.
It's surreal, and those guys told me, Magic, man. There's probably nobody else in the world that would get this opportunity. Like, what pro team is giving just anybody?
Especially at top, they're and even more so.
You're
back
talking
then,
about
they were
like
the top 2,
the number 1 or 2 team in the world.
Yeah.
Giving me the opportunity. You can't buy it. You have to earn it. They respect it, and I cherish it, and they know that. So then, like, I remember they're going to sign autographs, and I'm like, "All right, man, guys," and they're like, "No, man,
come in."
I'm signing posters. I'm signing jerseys. There's a bunch of jerseys and posters out there that are one-offs with Magic 22 on them.
You find that? You let us know, man.
And, they made me feel like a champion, and although I think on Sunday we ended up getting knocked out. They lost to Impact, and it's always tough losing. But those guys, Sarge, come and have dinner with us and treated me like family, and I'll always be there for them because of what they did for me. Always, all the guys.
Dude, that's awesome. So we're coming to the end here. I think it's a good spot to end it because that was an amazing story. But I want to give you a chance before we sign off to shout out anyone that has helped you or that you want to give a special shout out to before we get out of here.
And
man.
let's get Tom Zilla in here before we.
Yeah,
give him his
let's bring the little guy up real quick, man. This is my son Thomas. We call him Zilla. He's 12 years old. Just for all you kids out there, because we're trying to grow the sport. He's out there with us. You know, he plays with the Brooklyn Bears. You know, say hello.
Hi.
Yeah, he could speak up a little bit, but you know, he's you know, it just goes to show you that, you know, he's been playing. We've had him since he's 7 years old, playing on the field. Robbie Altamore's been training him. All of the Bears put in. Nick puts in. Jared puts in. Joey puts in. You know, Andy helps him. There's just so many people, and you know, over the years they've taught this kid how to be a paintball player. And when I watch him out there and I get emotional about it, it's not me that did it. It's all those guys who do it for me. They treat my son like their own, and I can't thank those guys enough. All the Brooklyn Bears, you guys all know who you are, present, and even all the guys in the past. I thank all you guys for everything you've ever done for me. All the people at Lux, you know, Russell, Rich, you know, even Daryl, and all the guys at Lux, Tarzan, Mike Tarzan, everybody out there. If I'm forgetting your name, I'm sorry. You know, just everybody who's always taking care of us. You know, a shout out to Tim, who's always treating me like gold. We miss you, Tim. You were a special person that many, many people across the globe miss. And always remember you, always will cherish you. You know, you'll always be in my heart. And all the guys at Carbon, thank you for everything you've ever done for us. All the guys at Valken, thank you for everything you've ever done for us. You know, the High-Vi guys, you know, all the Cousins guys, the NWO guys, everybody who's always practiced us and helped us, all the other teams out there, all my family at Houston Heat, thank you so much.
All right, guys, and just one last thing, you know, definitely subscribe, rate, and review. And I got one question here for Tom Zilla to leave it off. Tom, between you and your dad on a one-on-one, who's taking it?
I'll destroy him.
All right, we're going to leave it with that, guys. Thank you again to Magic Mike, Tom Zilla, and we'll see you guys out there. Peace.
Take it easy.